All right, let's talk with the Doc.
And the Duchess.
And we're live, baby. We got Lily, we got Sophie, a couple special guests. We're going to go over the last couple of years of our shows, our highlights, not so highlights, our pros and cons, and where Doc lost his shirt.
So our very first show ever, and this was early March in 2023, it was the Work with Maple Syrup Festival. So what were your three main highlights from that? Or what was the moment that stood out the most to you?
The moment that stood out the most is probably when you have that kettle corn in your hand that you've made, you perfected, you walk up to a senior who's 80 plus and say, hey, this is going to be the best kettle corn you ever eat in your life. Whoa! You step that back, son. You got a set of big boots to fill. So you shake that in their hand, especially their wife, right? Then
he's out there flirting with the ladies, for sure.
Then they start eating it. Then he gives you the head nod, like you're right, like you know he didn't want to do it, like but yeah, it's so good. Then you give it to his wife, and can I take 2 bags? Putting smiles on kids' faces. We were popping live, people smelling our product, like over at the arena, we're downtown Warkworth. That was probably the thing. People would come up to us and say, yeah, we just come to the smell.
There must have been at least 50 people that did that, honestly. And my favorite thing, too, there was this little kid that came up and we were handing out samples and he asked if he could help us, which was really sweet, but then he dropped it and it went all over the place, and I did think he was going to cry because he really didn't want to disappoint the doc.
No.
But he did a good job. So shout out to that kid if you're watching. I don't remember your name, I'm sorry.
Then I would do everything with a paddle, right? We didn't have an auto stir then, so yeah, about the 50th batch, my arms were getting pretty sore.
Paddle pipes.
Oh yeah, the paddle pipes. I broke like 2 paddles, right? Snapped them in half.
It may have been more than 2.
My buddy John hooked us up.
Okay, so the next show that we did was the Frankfurt Legion. That was around the end of March. I'm going to let you take the lead on this one. It's
the Frankfurt Legion. Snowstorm, ice storm. We go all the way there, pop all this product. Oh yeah, the market thing is kind of clicky, I'll admit. Oh yeah, so everybody's showing up there. We showed up, and yeah, maybe about $50 maybe, and we lost our shirt. So the small events, we've done a couple of them. We did another one in Trenton too, right?
Yes.
We sent an employee there, and
yeah, we won't even bring that one. That one's not even on the list. We'll let that one go.
Yeah, we lost our shirt on that one too. People don't realize that you have to make a certain amount when you go, whoa, just to pay your bills. Sure, I want to get in the community, stuff like that, but you can only do those shows for so long. If you're an entrepreneur, you know you're going to be belly up. You keep those up.
So the next one that we did was Float Your Fanny Down the Gandy in Port Hope. That was the biggest show that we had done to that point.
Yeah.
And it was lots of fun. A lot of people came out. It was the first time that we did donuts.
Yes.
And the first time that we did coffee. Neither one of them particularly worked out so well.
No.
We never did the coffee again.
Or the donuts.
Or the donuts live. But after that point, we started making them ahead of time, and then we would heat them up in the toaster, which actually gave them a nice crunch to them, and they were actually better that way too. But there was too much with the temperature and everything for us to really regulate it, and we'd never dealt with a crowd that size before either.
No.
But what was your favorite memory from that?
Favorite memory? When my competition came over.
Yes, I forgot about that actually. Yes, that's true.
Are we allowed to mention Ben's name?
We can bleep it out.
So I'm standing there,
We won't say the name of the business.
Oh. We'll call him Ben for camera's sake. We'll just call him Ben. So this young gentleman comes over, and I'm popping, and I'm at him stirring. I get the paddle right, and he looks at me. Remember, he knew I was running North Bend Kettle, and then he was quizzing me, and then he looks at me, and there was like a lineup of people. Remember?
Yes, there was. Yeah, we were super busy the whole day. It didn't stop. Yeah.
And so he sits there and he looks at me and he goes, "Oh, you're using a North Bend Kettle, stuff like that." He goes, "Oh, hi, I'm Ben. I'm your competition." So he was across the river with the kids section. So he's sitting there quizzing me about all my different flavors. Of course, I give him some kettle corn to try, right?
As you do. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So then, he kind of drove me, looked at my setup, and then Ben left. So I didn't realize that if I got lineups and you're standing at my shack, you must not have been very busy.
Probably not the same crowd. No. But props to us. I mean, that was really only our second show, really, when you think about it. It was the second live show that we did.
Yeah.
So it was pretty good on the whole. And we met Ralph from Herbert's that day, so shout out to Ralph. He's been awesome helping us through this whole process, actually, since that day.
It's kind of funny because on my other ventures and other businesses I had, it is so different how the people accept you in this line of work and want you to help But there's always one or two that don't want you to succeed, or when competition comes in.
Yeah.
People don't like competition.
No, but we're all here to just support each other, right, guys? So, absolutely. So the next one, this one was a good one too, but the weather is always shit when we do this event. The Peterborough Fishing Derby.
Yes.
So, I'll let you explain what happened within the first 15 minutes. This is actually awesome, though.
I didn't want to go, actually.
No, I forgot about that. Okay, so that is true. So we used to have a gentleman working with us named Jeremy, and Jeremy and I had to talk him into going because it was pissing down rain.
Oh, it was
And it was cold. It was very, very cold, but we went. And to date, it was probably still one of the most successful shows we've ever done.
Yeah.
Really. But it was raining. Within the first 15 minutes, though, of being there, some little kid caught Walter. And so there's a photo opportunity, and we'll show you guys. We'll add this into the video. So that was pretty cool.
Then they caught Walter. Then our one will be sponsored. You have to sponsor a fish, right? So then they never got our fish that year. This year they got the fish.
Yes, this year they caught Buckaroo.
Buckaroo, yeah. And
It was on the last day, I think. He always gets away.
Mm-hmm. He always gets away, but yeah, it was cold. Duchess almost got taken out for a branch. She's still crying about it, but
I do still talk about it. My whole life flashed before my eyes. You weren't even there. He was sitting in the truck getting warm while Jeremy and I were working, as he does.
Oh yeah.
Well, Jeremy and I were working, and a gigantic branch fell on the tent. Thank God the tent was there, because otherwise I would probably not be talking to you guys today. It was big. It was scary. The next show, I'm not gonna name. It was a market at somebody's house.
Yes.
And we got there, and it was definitely not organized well at all. There was, how can we say this politely?
Well, it would have been the lady organizing it.
Yes. But when we and I don't even know if we should say this, but it's just one of those things that we're always going to remember. So we pull into the driveway, and she has a feminine hygiene product sticking out of the back of her pants. It was me with two dudes, so we were trying to decide like how we could very casually go up and tell her, because I did feel very embarrassed for her, the poor lady. So anyway, we took care of that for her. But then she proceeded to drink throughout the whole day, and she got more and more drunk as the day went on, and started making racial slurs with customers there. So we did not go back.
And she walks into our booth with a cigarette in her mouth.
That also happened, yes, I forgot about that.
She goes to the back, I pop, and she's got a dirty Daryl in her mouth, right? And, oh, yeah, there's a whiskey in her hand, a cigarette.
Yes, so yeah, we won't name the show, but we were invited back. We did not go back. The next one we did, this was one of my favorite events actually of the whole season. It was the Grey Highlands Ram Rodeo.
Yes.
So for many reasons, I'm gonna let you share your highlights first.
Probably top was working with my daughter. She came and she worked with us that summer, and then they had all the horses, and then we took a trailer. So that was one of our things with just getting accommodations for the employees and stuff. So I ended up buying a trailer and a truck, and we just camp on site. So then we get up in the morning, and there's a video and a picture of me sitting at my coffee, and then the horses are behind us. They just put shackles on the horses, and they could just free range and eat the grass. That was a total highlights in there with my daughter. Then there was a little girl who would watch me on social media and stuff like that. And
she knew who Doc was.
Yeah, and she asked for my autograph, which was really cool, and she'd always be asking where I was and stuff like that. And Jeremy was with us.
He was, yes.
So he was handing out samples of kettle corn to our neighbor who had a chip truck, and we would kind of go back and forth. Well, then I made this hot one, really hot. Well, Jeremy goes over and gives it to all the staff members, but he forgot to tell them it was hot. And we were shooting a video, and he came over and kind of gave us our 2 cents for it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna post the video, but that was probably the highlight of the whole weekend. Was you, sir, are an asshole. When he came up, and it was right when we were recording too, so we didn't plan it at all, but we got a pretty good shot of that.
You, sir, are an asshole. Who does that to somebody?
Oh, that's nothing, buddy.
Man, that's burning.
And honestly, the whole weekend was nice because the scenery was nice, the weather was perfect, waking up to the horses in the morning, like the whole thing was just really cool.
The drive was like beautiful.
It was, yeah. It really is. Grey Highlands is up in where was it? That past Lake Simcoe, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a really nice area. So if you're ever traveling that way, I would definitely recommend stopping by.
Yeah, it was gorgeous up there.
Definitely. This next event, it was really good for us. Not so good for the other vendors, unfortunately. The Log Drivers Festival in Marmora. So this was, I think, about a week after we got back from Grey Highlands.
Yeah.
And we had a very successful event. It was the first time that we ever did Marmor Mix.
Yep.
That sold really well.
I invented my Marmor mix.
Yeah, and I think we sold out that day. Actually, we were popping live all day.
So my Marmor mix, everybody would come up and say, "What? Oh, I want Chicago." So I'll make okay. I want to one up it and make it Canadian. Oh, what's more Canadian than maple sugar? So we did caramel, orange cheddar, maple sugar. Right? Then the maple sugar we got locally in Springbrook from my buddy Johnny, and we would fuse that into the kettle corn. We did all that live too, right? So that was our highlight, and people have kind of put us on the map now because I invented my new Dr. Buck's creamy caramel. We changed our orange cheddar to be something that's even better than with the real maple sugar.
Oh, yeah, it's come a long way. I mean, it was good back then, but it's even better now. I also think that was the first time that we ever did the dill pickle one too. I'm pretty sure, and it's been one of our really popular ones too. Everybody seems to love the dill pickle.
Yeah, the dill pickle's been really popular.
But yeah, it was a good event. But like I think they ended up canceling it. But we would have gone back. It was really good for us. But unfortunately, the other vendors, I don't think it really worked out so well.
No.
But no, it was good on the whole. So the next one was the Country Heritage Ram Rodeo in Milton.
Yes.
So we were next to the Kids Zone. We thought that would be awesome.
Was it?
It wasn't so much, unfortunately. And Milton's quite the drive too. I mean, it's not as far as Grey Highlands, but it's still.
Yeah, that was the thing after the first year. We assessed, okay, what do we make money at? What did I lose money at? What shows were good? I know I had to get out and get in the public side. You got to get people tasting the product.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that was the big thing. That when I started this company, I wanted Canadian made, locally made, handmade. So if you see all our stuff, we got our corn locally. We get all our supplies locally. My maple sugar. That's why I make my own creamy caramel, because I wanted to be our own.
Right? Absolutely. One highlight though from that show, and it wasn't so much about the show itself, was because Country Heritage Park is kind of like Pioneer Village with all the old buildings and everything, and there was this one building that was supposedly haunted, and none of us actually knew about that at the time, but we all kind of had like our own experiences near that building. Like you felt something when you're on the porch, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after the fact, I found out from the girl that works there that apparently whoever's haunting it doesn't like men. So did you kind of get that feeling when you were there?
It was weird. We went up there and they had like some bees that were pollinating the apple orchard, and then I think Monica and I walked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we walked up and it was like an old kind of Anna Green Gables house.
Exactly. Yeah, it had like the white picket fence and everything. Yeah.
And you walked up on the deck and you got this like really like weird chill, right? Yeah, it was pretty awesome. If you ever get down that way, you gotta check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool place to check out for sure.
Yeah.
So the next two were probably the absolute worst events of the whole year. So we might as well just talk about them both together because we've never had success at car shows.
Never.
So the Napanee car show, Father's Day weekend.
Oh my god.
And then Auto Traders in Colburn.
Oh my god.
Which I'll hand it to Auto Traders though. Extremely nice people. Extremely nice. It was awesome experience. Unfortunately, we just did not do what we had hoped to do. But the one in Napanee, we got there and they didn't have a spot for us even though we'd already booked it, and then they didn't know where they were going to put us. So right there, we'd already driven all the way from Marmora, so that was not cool. I think we lasted 3 hours, if that.
Oh yeah.
Before we left. A couple in front of us, they had come all the way from Mississauga for the day and they were selling candy, so they must not have been very happy either. But yeah, so on the whole, car shows, we're not doing them anymore.
Used to give a lot of product away. That's my crack, is give them back. So we drive in the laneway. You remember this lady?
No. Oh yeah, yes, I know what you're talking about.
So this lady,
yes.
These people would greet you. So you would go in there in the car. The grass was just high. They put us on a hill like this, right? And, yeah. So we walk in. I look at the lady and I say to her, "Hey, if you smile right now, I'll give you a bag of kettle corn." This lady greeted people. That was her job.
Yeah. It was frown town, total frown town.
She didn't get a bag of kettle corn. I said, "I'll give you a bag of kettle corn in my hand." Frown town, so we just drove away. All right, so I couldn't get over that. Like, you're gonna have people meeting people to greet people to stuff. You should make them smile.
Yes.
Customer service.
Well, yeah, you have to, be welcoming, and then she was not.
No.
We've encountered a few people on this journey like that for sure. Yeah. But yes, the car shows are out definitely.
Yeah. No, then the other one we went to, it was a flop, but people don't realize, like, when you say to them, "Oh, you can come to my event, I won't charge you." Well, for us to leave, to fuel, insurance, all that, like, you have to make at least $1,000 or $1,500, or it's not worth coming out. People don't get that. Oh my god, well, like this people with the lavender farm.
Mm-hmm.
I just talked to a lady today at a lavender farm. She's retiring. They wanted $6,000 extra if she sold products. Insurance
Oh, for
company.
insurance, yeah.
Yeah.
But people don't even think about any of that. But and especially too when you're on the road traveling, between insurance, having to pay employees, your gas, your mileage, your time, when you could be back at the farm or whatever doing other work. Absolutely, yeah.
Like Ralph he's got the chip truck.
From
stuff.
Herbert's, yeah.
Herbert, he's been educating us and taking me under his wing, telling us the good shows, the bad shows, right? So we're just learning as we go along. So that's why after each show you gotta assess, is it worth going back? No, yes, right?
Pretty much all the first year was even parts of the second year too. We kind of went through that a bit, which we'll touch more on in the next episode. But yeah, it's a learning curve for sure.
For sure.
Coburg Waterfront Festival.
Yes.
Canada Day itself was extremely good.
Yeah.
It was very busy, actually too. And then Doc's daughter and her boyfriend were up in Hastings that day as well. They sold out of kettle corn. So while we were busy trying to serve everybody in Coburg, we were also popping for them, and so that was a very good day. The Friday not so much, the Sunday not so much.
No, and the biggest thing is these shows, like Coburg Waterfront, you gotta lower your fee. Like when you're charging us ridiculous fees to come and vend, right, and all the other expenses. That's why we couldn't. You just go by and think, oh my god, if I spend $1,000 just to get in there, all of a sudden I gotta make that just in back, and my wages and all that, and wear and tear in your vehicle. Every time I take my truck in, it's like I just spent $3,500 on my truck. And that's the truck that we use for people don't see that, right?
Also, too, talking about Frowntown, and in this case, it was the customers, because nobody in Coburg wanted a free sample of kettle corn. Like, we were to be doing our videos and everything and going out into the crowd, and almost every single person said no to a free sample. Like, who turns down free samples? Especially of kettle corn. Especially when it's the Kettle Corn King of Canada on Canada Day. Like, come on.
The people in the beer tent didn't.
No, that's true. Okay, so this was impressive, and I am going to post a video on this, too. So Doc had his... Well, it was your second rock star moment, actually. Your first one, well, we'll get into that later. But, yeah, so anyway, with all the leftover kettle corn, he had his rock star moment. He went over, and they had, like, this band shell where they were playing music, and he's chucking the leftover bags into the crowd and into the beer tent. It was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah?
I was proud of you that day. That was awesome.
Checking out the highlights of the scenery. Saw a little cloud, looked a little I had my hands in the river, my feet back up on the bank, and looked up to the Lord above, said, hey man, sometimes I get so really got a dream. She said, Brody baby, I know exactly what you need. She said,
Thanks very much.
we're
Get packed up. We got a long drive home. Dr. Buck's out, baby.
So we said when we hit 1,000 subscribers and give everything away.
Yes, 1,000 subscribers on TikTok.
Yeah,
So
so
we
we
could
hit-
go live.
Yeah, so we hit 1,000 subscribers on TikTok, and she goes, what? She goes, what? So I want you to load everything up and give it away. So it was like Santa Claus, got bags of all the product we had left over.
And you had the wheelie cart too.
On Coburg, it was people complained about parking, people complained about paying, getting downtown.
That was a big thing about people having to pay for parking for sure. Yeah, definitely. And then the weather was kind of iffy that day too, which kind of. But like I said, Canada Day was good. It was just the other 2 days that it was not good. That also too, which I just remembered, was the worst burger that either one of us have ever had in our lives.
Oh my god.
Once again, we're not going to name where we got it from, but it was freezer burnt. It wasn't cooked all the way through, and I'll let you tell the story about the food handler.
Oh my god. So we look across, we always try to support. We all usually, as a vendor, if you come over, I'm not going to charge you. I'll give you whatever. We always kind of exchange program. Not all vendors are like that. I think you should be. People that volunteer, Lions Club and all that, I give them all free kettle corn, right? Because without the volunteers, we wouldn't be there, right? So I say, you want to get a couple burgers? Yeah, we go over there, get the burger, we come back, and it's freezer burn. So I took it back there, and they charged me $10 a burger, and it was freezer burn.
And raw in the middle.
Yeah, and raw in the middle. So then the guy's looking at me, and I just tell him, okay, you're gonna do you a favor here, buddy. Like, you're lucky it's me, I'm another vendor. Your food's freezer burn. So what's he do? The gentleman out of 10 of them, he's the only one with the food handlers thing. So So they flip the burger and they look at him. Then he cuts the burger in half to see if it's open, and he gives a head nod if it's right. So he comes over after and tells me that he's the only one of the food handlers. There's 10 of them in the trailer, and brings us over a couple more burgers that were burnt, and they were worse than the first one. Then
Burnt's an understatement. There was not a lot left of them. It was pretty much just black. It was like.
Then he looks at us and he tells us, yeah, he likes to keep he doesn't want to waste any food or meat, so he keeps the meat extra long. Remember that?
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
You're running a chip truck. You just told me that why you're serving burnt food, freezer burnt food, and getting people sick.
Yeah, not good. Not good. It was definitely, like, we've had some pretty bad burgers over the last 2 years, but that by far 100%, like, yeah, it's not good.
And come over and tell us that and justify why it's freezer burnt and raw and burnt. Like,
but then we actually had the next day, I think we had burgers from the Lions Club, and they were really good.
yeah, we were to support the Lions Club.
Yeah, for sure. And then there was the what do they call the Jamaican patties? I remember, like, the tacos; those were really good too. We
Yeah.
had a lot of good food on this journey as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of good food and there's been a lot of bad food.
Yes, hit and miss, hit and miss. So the next one's probably the most organized show or market that we've ever done, but unfortunately the sales just weren't there for us. The Mustang Trunk Show. They were so organized right from, like, the minute you got there till the minute you left. Everything was just running so super smooth,
Yes.
but the sales just weren't there, unfortunately.
See, we're gonna do a market here. The things that I didn't agree with is the amount of money they charge the vendors.
Yes.
Right. So if you gotta travel a long distance, because if I want to go to a market, I want to see hundreds of people. I don't want to see like 10 vendors. So if you keep your costs low for people to come in and vend, that the average person can afford it, and if they have to drive any distance, it's gonna be worth it. So if you make it so high that, and they had the room.
Oh,
Right?
for sure.
Like when you used to go there, you said it was packed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
And we were like half the vendors.
Yeah, like the first, cause I went, I think it was their second year, and like you couldn't move with a sea of people in there. And then yeah, and a few people that had done it like in the previous years, they said the same thing, that the numbers just weren't there, which is really unfortunate because it's a great idea and it was a great show. And like I said, like they had so many like young students, I think, probably helping direct people to their spots and where to park and everything, right from the minute that you went through that entry gate. That was all amazing. Like out of all the shows we've done, that's probably the most organized for sure. But
yeah.
The sales weren't there. And unfortunately, I don't think they're running it anymore, so I think it's up for sale.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's too bad. It's too bad to see an event like that kind of go.
Yeah, but but you got to change. If you don't change with the times, like let's face it, we're starting to go into recession. Money's tight. People got a hard time. Food, lodging, all that's just crazy. So you got to lower your prices so the average family can go
Definitely,
there, right?
yeah. So this next one is Peterborough Music Fest.
Hit and miss.
The first year though.
It was pretty good.
The first year was I think it was one of our better things for sure.
For sure.
I think we did about 8 or 10 of them the first season.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we met the dynamic duo Batman and Robin. So shout
Batman.
out to Adam and Tim.
Oh yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty good. Like I think this year, well, we'll talk about this year in another one. But this year though, those 2 nights, and we'll talk about them later, was the biggest crowd we've ever seen out of all of them. So we're definitely going back next year for sure. It's always been good to us. But yeah, like what are your main highlights from Peterborough? Do you think? Like what was the
The main highlights from Peterborough? There's a lot of different people in Peterborough.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different. It's amazing. Just people coming with the boats, right? Little lake where we were. So you'd see people from all over the world. I've seen a couple people I haven't seen since kindergarten. I grew up in Millbrook.
Oh
right?
yeah, that's true too. That was nice. Yeah.
So I grew up in the Brook and stuff like that. So people are like following me on social media. Big shout out to Mark Sanders. Go on down there. Tinny Auto Sales. Tell him that Scott sent you. He might give you a discount. I'm not quite sure. Actually.
I think too the coolest thing is the guy had sailed all the way from California the one night, and he was there, and he did buy some Dr. Buck's capricorns.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully told his family and friends in the States about that when he got home. Yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I like them live music, and the thing with Peterborough too is that they're free concerts, so everybody's kind of got some money that they want to spend on food, and there's quite a this year there's a lot more variety than last year actually. But yeah, no, it's a good time. It's fun. It's nice to listen to live music while you work too.
They had a lot of country music, rock, hip hop.
Yeah, and some really good cover bands and things like that too. And we were still popping live back then, so Doc was putting on his show, so that was always fun too. Once again, people could smell the kettle corn all over and would come to us because they could smell it. We had repeat customers every week. Shout out to that lady that came back every week for the donuts. She was so sweet. And then one week, Beaver Tails was there, and she got a beaver tail instead of her donuts, and she came and she apologized profusely the next week, but we didn't hold it against her. I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one. Cannabis Cup.
Oh my god.
Had so much potential.
You did your donut, fancy donut.
I
thing,
did,
you
because
got
I thought
crushed.
it's just a whole bunch of people who are stoned out of their minds, right? So I thought, have the donuts, have like all the toppings to put on. We had sprinkles, we had whipped cream, we had chocolate sauce, we had butterscotch sauce, we had cotton candy sauce. Nothing. It confused people. They didn't know what to do with it. So
No.
yeah, that was, you know.
Yeah. Everybody wanted free samples.
I was just gonna say that.
Nobody wanted to buy anything. They just wanted freebies, so they'd come over all stoned under the tree. Can I sample this, and that? And they walk away.
And it was 3 days of that.
Yeah, 3 days of that, and even the people beside us, like, nobody was very successful.
No, that's too bad. Because once again, there's a lot of people there that had a lot of potential. But as far as vendors, at least on our side of things with the food, I think probably the people that were there selling, you know, cannabis-related items did better than we did. But yeah,
Their fee was way too much.
that was expensive because for the 3 days it was almost $1,000. The next one, and I'm very sorry for everybody who lives in this area if I'm mispronouncing it. I think it's pronounced Exeter Ram Rodeo. I think that was, out of all the Ram Rodeos we did, it was definitely the best.
Yeah, it was good.
It was a nice area too.
Yeah, but they were just the same thing. It was just the drive, the expense.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It was a successful show, but was it worth all of the money and everything to get there? Because we took 2 vehicles, and so that's 2 trucks, 2 camper, or 1 camper, 1 trailer. That's a lot of gas to go through, and it was almost a 4-hour drive there and back.
Yeah.
So that's 8 hours driving altogether. That's a lot. That's a lot. But it was fun though.
It was fun.
Yeah, for sure. And once again, that was the one too. On the other side of the grandstands, people could smell the caramel popping. So that was we have a lot of people come back and tell us that. That's pretty cool. That's always cool.
Yeah.
Hastings Waterfront Festival. So Hastings has always been good to us.
Yeah, Hastings has always been good. People always come out and support us.
Exactly, yeah. So that was a really good one. So shout out to Logan. You're great at organizing. We were very sad to hear that it got canceled this year, but we really hope that you guys are able to bring it back next year. Hastings plowing match.
The Hastings plowing match.
So last year it was in Deseronto.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was pretty good. I think we sold out of donuts.
Sold out of donuts. Capricorn, it was all right.
Yeah.
It wasn't fantastic, but whatever. We went to the Hastings one in close to Downs during this year.
Yeah, that one. I'm not sure which one we had more people actually. But see, this year we had the press. Actually, that's where we launched our pretzels this year.
Yeah.
Crooks Rapids.
Oh my god. Yeah, we lost my shirt there.
The dill pickle though, we could not pop enough dill pickle, like that everybody was mad for dill pickle there. Honest to God, but other than that,
They were all gawkers.
yes.
I've never seen so many people walk up with kids and stuff and and whatever.
And the problem with that one too, and we found this with a lot of places where there's been people camping, they bring their own food, so they don't necessarily want to buy food, but also too how it worked out. And once again, the organization was very good. It was.
Yeah.
So shout out to all those people. It's not like we're dissing the event, but all of the campers were up on the hill. So people were sitting in front of their campers looking down on the music instead of actually coming down in front of the stage. So they weren't even coming to where all the food was. They were all up on the hill. So that was, the layout of it wasn't exactly successful as far as vending goes. And
How much was it?
I honestly don't. I just remember it was out there. And this year I think they raised the prices. We didn't go back to this year.
No.
But-
So if you're running an event, I know it costs a lot of money to bring in high-end people and stuff like that, but you're better to keep your costs reasonable to the average person that can go there as a small business and have 100 vendors instead of having 5.
Yeah.
Because when you went there was 2 chip trucks.
Yeah, and
Ralph?
then no, there was, and then Jordan was there with his pizza, and then I think there was then they had their own like concession where they were doing pulled pork and things like that.
My highlight was the guy with the chip.
Yes. So, oh my gosh, and I am so sorry, I cannot remember the business.
Spitfire?
Flame Spitter. You know what? I'm gonna tag them because this guy is super nice, and I'm so sorry that I can't remember your name off the top of my head, but I will definitely tag you in this video. Yeah, so he was doing like the 1 chip challenge. I think they had the gummy challenge too, right?
It was the hottest chip in the world.
Yeah, oh my, we saw some tears. There was some tears that day, but it was fun to watch. That was definitely the highlight of the whole weekend for sure.
So this guy that works for you, I think an employee or somebody come up and they offered him a certain amount of money to eat the chip. So the guy that works for you should have actually known better. You sold the goddamn thing. He eats the chip, right? In the little wee box there, and you watch it on TikTok, everybody eating all this shit. And all of a sudden, about 10 minutes later, I look over the hill and he's in behind puking. rolled up in a ball. He's puking his guts out after eating his hot chip about 20 minutes and bread and water. It took him at least 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, that must have burned all the way down.
Oh,
I can't even imagine. Like, oh my god, no,
Oh, yeah.
that's not.
So he took the hot chip challenge and got his $20 and puked it up.
That was definitely the highlight. That was the most entertaining part of the whole weekend, actually, for sure. Yes.
But I've never seen so many people come up and look at your booth and we had $5 bags, right?
Yeah, nothing. I think, and the vendors there who weren't food vendors, I think there's somebody there selling clothes, and I don't think they sold anything.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, that's too bad because like I said, the organization was very good, but it was the layout of the vendors and where the camping was situated. It didn't flow, unfortunately. But
No.
we hope you had a very successful year this year, though.
Yeah, the entertainment was good.
It was. There's a lot of local people that would perform too, including some of that Doc went to high school with. Actually. Yes. So that was pretty cool. So, I think this one might have been the most disappointing, the Tweed Stampede.
Tweed Stampede. Oh my god.
Once again, it was the camping issue because there's a lot of people camping there, so they all come with their own food. So there was that. It was the organization as well.
Very unorganized.
And for a show that has been running for so long, that is so successful, I could not believe how unorganized it was.
For sure.
Like, and then even the fact that our trailer got parked in and we couldn't even open the door, so he had to move the whole layout when we had told them when we dropped off the trailer that this was going to be what was happening. But also too, we got there, nobody knew who was really in charge at the time. Nobody knew where to put it. Some gentleman who was a vendor who wasn't even working there is the one who actually ended up directing us to our space. So, yeah, on the whole, it was disappointing.
Expensive as hell.
It was local too, and it still cost us more money to do that than any of the other Ram rodeos, I think, and that included travel. Like it was not.
No, that's the thing. I know it costs lots of money, but when you have very few vendors and then you charge me extra for my staff, and you only get so many tickets.
It's the wristband thing, and that's the thing too. You're already paying, like, to be a vendor there. So and this is something that I've always been against. It doesn't really matter what show. If you're already paying to be a vendor there and you're there working, right? You're not there enjoying the entertainment. You're there working, and you have to pay the fee for the wristbands. Like, that makes 0 sense to me. And that's not the only show that's done that. There's been multiple shows that have done that. That makes 0 sense to me.
No, you should be at least giving 4 bands.
Absolutely, yeah. And there, like the air show, for example, I think we got like 5 or 6, which makes sense because you need that level of staff, right? But I think, yeah, definitely it's a money grab, I think, for sure. I don't like to say that, but it is.
The porta potties were disgusting.
We've been in a lot of porta potties over the last 2 years, and I have to say, like, the first day that we were there to set up, so it wasn't even open to the public yet, and they were already overflowing. Like, it was just disgusting. Like, thank goodness that we had the camper, because we could use the bathroom in the camper, because I would not wish that on anybody. And the smell and it was not good.
And they own them. You own them off. They're reserved.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
they own them. So when you have a pump truck, if you're doing it this year, you should be pumping them every night, every day.
Or at least before the show starts. Like, if nothing else, at least before you're open.
If you're going to charge me thousands of dollars to come and vent, and you can't even have a volunteer, which you're not paying, bring me to my spot. Most spots would be laid out. Like, we went to a show on Sunday. The guy had it all chalked out on a park.
Oh, that was amazing. That was amazing.
He had a little zip. Oh, there's your 10 feet. Chalk. There you go, Doc. Drop your trailer here. Can you park your truck over there?
So shout out to Homestead Farmers Market, because he was well organized for sure.
He was there early. He picked up the phone. He knew his shit. Boom, boom. You guys are going here. All right. He told us to come early so we can get blocked in with our trailer. We were the first ones there. Dropped the trailer. We left. We had 2 tents come to the nose and one
Yeah,
to the back.
exactly. And honestly, and as far as that goes, that was probably the most organized anybody's ever been, because he took into consideration everything that had to do with the trailer, whether we were dropping the tailgate or exactly, yeah, and that's the thing with a lot of shows that I will say is organization. Like, there's been so many where even like leading up to maybe like 2 days ahead of time, they haven't even contacted us with the information. And I'm not saying that about Tweed. I'm just saying, like, in general, how many times have we encountered that?
Well,
It's like-
crazy how people didn't get. We drove all the way to Lindsay this year.
That we're not going to get into details too much about that, because we do want to go back to next year. But we had a very unfortunate incident where we were told, if we got approval by the health unit, that we were going to be accepted into a very big show that went on for a few days. So some people probably are going to figure out what it is. But so we drive all the way to Lindsay, and then we are told no. And this is after they ignored phone calls and emails from us, because we tried to contact them. And so we decided, hey, we're just going to go because they've told us this. And it didn't work out so well. But yeah, so that's the thing. Communication is super important if you're organizing a show for vendors. So if you're thinking about doing that, like, communication, definitely emails are important. Like, some of these shows, like, when it's 2 days ahead of time and we still don't know where we're gonna go, like, there's a lot to plan out when it comes to for the vendors, right? Like, we have to organize it, and yeah. So if you're planning a show, get yourself organized.
Yeah, and have a little spot saying it's Dr. Buck, this is so and so, this is so and so, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So Mohawk Fair. We sold out of donuts the first day, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that was good. This year we couldn't go back because we had some scheduling complications. So unfortunately, we had something else booked that weekend because they moved the weekend. But on a whole, it wasn't a bad show for sure.
No, it wasn't a bad
Yeah.
show. Like you said, it was kind of. We were right by the beer tent.
We were by the beer tent. There's a couple of interesting. There's some. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of people wandering around who had to be held up. That's happened at a couple of shows.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
seen some.
They were pretty liquored up.
When you're by the beer tent, there's always going to be something interesting happening. But yeah, on a whole, though, like, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't the busiest event that we've ever had, but it wasn't the slowest
Is
either.
that where we first met Jerry?
Yeah, so shout out to Mr. Jerry's in Napanee. That is where we first met Jerry, yes.
Yeah, Mr. Jerry, and then he had staff with him there, and we come over and give him some kettle corn. They
Yes.
were awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And he makes really good poutine, too. So if you're ever in Napanee once the season starts up again, definitely stop by Mr. Jerry's and grab yourself a poutine.
Oh, yeah, tell him Doc sent
Or the Duchess.
you.
Okay, so this one, we had a special guest travel with us to this one. I'm going to let you guess. There's a stowaway.
Oh, Lenny,
Yes.
our cat. So I have a cat, and you'll see a lot of our videos. So I named him Lenny, and that's actually a female.
Yes,
But-
Lenny is a she.
Yes, so Lenny, I like the name because of Taxi. If you're over 40, you probably watch Taxi, and Lenny on Taxi. So
You watch Taxi?
Yeah.
Sorry, this man doesn't watch TV or movies, so I'm surprised that he
Oh, yeah.
watched.
Used
Well,
to
there we
watch-
go.
That's where you got Lenny from Taxi, right?
didn't
So I used to
know
watch
that.
Taxi, and I think that was a cool name. So how I got Lenny was I was sitting out in front of my house. My daughter lived with me, and she used to milk cows on a farm. So she knows I do not like cats. And so all of a sudden, I'm sitting out there having a coffee, and all of a sudden, I come out and something flops in my lap about this long, and my daughter runs away, and it was Lenny, the cat. So Lenny's got an extra foot or an extra thumb or whatever.
Not an extra foot.
No, extra thumbs. He's
An
got
extra claw.
five toes,
Yeah.
right? So then Lenny, like, very inquisitive, right? So we're going to the show,
Milford Fall Fair.
the Milford Falls.
Shout
Fair.
out to Kendra.
Yep. So all of a sudden, I get there, and all of a sudden, Kendra walks over. He goes, "Do you know you have like a cat on your roof?" I said, "What?" The next thing you know, I pull out, and there's Lenny on the roof of my trailer. Well, thank God he's not declawed. Well, he was over an hour drive.
Oh, yeah, from Armour to Picton. Oh, yeah, but almost an hour and a half.
Like the Bay Bridge we went over and all that. So all of a sudden, Lenny, and he turned around, was over, and jumped in my arms.
She was shaking so badly, but like I had to hand it to Kendra because she called her husband who wasn't there yet, and he brought kitty litter, he brought water, cat food. So Lenny spent the day in the truck, and definitely a lot of people came over and said, "Are you the people that came with the cat?" And so she was the star of the show that day. So Lenny got lots of attention, and she doesn't appreciate any of it really.
No.
No, it didn't really change her at all. No.
No.
But yeah, on a whole, though, that was a good show. But and you're gonna bring out the pumpkin spice donuts.
Yeah.
So once again, donut disappointment for the Duchess because we had the regular ones, which we sold out of. Pumpkin spice, for whatever reason, people just couldn't get their head around it.
No.
And it was like, when you give people too many options, they get confused and they shut down. That's basically what happens. So we didn't do the pumpkin spice ones again. But we sold out of them at Apple Fest, though, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Apple Fest, Brighton Apple Fest.
Brighton Apple Fest, yes.
Both years have been amazing. That's probably the best show that we've ever done, I would say.
Yeah.
The first year, we were still popping live, and we took because we always pre-pop, even when we were popping live, we would pre-pop ahead of a show, just to kind of get things started. And so we took our pre-pop, and we did not stop popping all day, and we still sold out of kettle corn, and we sold out of donuts. So yeah, that was a very good show. The crowds had never dulled. They're always, and they even come out right before it starts. Like they're there like as soon as setup's done, pretty much.
Very organized.
Yeah, definitely.
What time were they there this year? Like, they were there.
Oh yeah, this year, both years we get 6 in the morning is what our setup time was, which that's pretty early. I got here at 4:30, I think, before we left. But yeah, no, and they're organized. You get there, and you already know where your spot's going to be ahead of time. But as soon as you get there, they have a volunteer to take you to your spot. It's all spray painted on the ground, so like the Homestead Farmers Market. They've got the numbers, they've got, just like your booth is from here to here, there's lines so that nobody can complain that you've crossed over into somebody else's space, and it's extremely well organized, definitely.
Yeah, so you have someone take you right to your spot.
Yes, yeah.
Right, here's your spot here, here's your mark, boom.
Yeah, and exactly. They organize traffic flow. It's like, okay, so in the morning you can only drive this way, and then at the night you can only drive this way, so that there's not, but the first year though, we did well, there was a few crashes actually. So remember when we were coming for takedown, so we had to wait quite a while before we were actually able to drive in and pick everything up. But we saw a couple of cars take out people's displays. It was not Doc, of course, because he drove tractor trailer for 25 years. He can get in and out of anything. But yeah, there was a couple of tents and signs that definitely went down. So that wasn't good.
Remember the kettle with the police officer?
Yes, okay, I'm gonna have to go back and find that video too, because yes, there was police blocking the road at the end, so Doc kind of took a little run with the kettle, and it was fun. We'll see if we can post that one too.
Oh yeah, right down there, and I'm running down the main street with the kettle, spinning the kettle around, and the cops looking at me.
That was probably, like, you catch me off guard a lot, but I was not expecting that. Like, that was definitely not, no.
All right, guys, you ready? Dr. Buck, the Kettle Corn King of Canada, baby. We're here at Brighton Apple Fest. We forgot something. Kettle. All right, let's go.
But if we're going to touch on something from the car show, it would have been when I stopped after and I gave him a kettle corn.
Yes, I forgot about. So that was after the Auto Traders one. So Duchess was a little intimidated, a little scared, but it ended up being okay. I learned my lesson that day. Just trust Doc.
What?
But Hell's Angels, definitely, yes. And they tried our kettle corn. We posted on TikTok, and one of those lovely ladies actually commented on the video. So she did go on and follow you after. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, we'll have to share that one again too.
We're giving away. We're giving to the Hell's Angels. Let's go check it out.
Here I am, Dr. Buck, Kettle Corn King of Canada. I'm going to be all guys free back.
Let's do pickle. Now, what you go on TikTok, subscribe to Doc, Papa with the Dog?
I will for sure.
Kettle Corn, right on.
Right on. Look at it. Kettle Corn!
Yeah, we should.
All right, once TikTok, subscribe, Papa with the Dog. Thanks, guys.
Usually what I say to her is get your phone. That's all I say to her. Get your phone out. She'll look at me and now she knows I don't even ask just to get it right. You don't know what I'm gonna do or stop.
But that has also gotten you in trouble because so this goes way back to the one that we weren't gonna name because of the drunk lady. But remember, so usually after a show, if we have some leftover stuff, we'll go and we'll give it out to people because Doc likes to give back. And we stopped with the trailer in the street, and so he gets out of the truck and goes, "Hey, do you know who I am?" And she's like, "I don't know you," and like freaked out. She thought that he was gonna like abduct her, so that was yeah. So you have to be careful. It's all about setting.
Oh, yeah.
It's about your approach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Once I gave her the kettle corn, she was all excited.
But then she was, and she just see me and Jeremy sitting in the truck and realized that you were alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I hope that lady's okay. We think of you often. Actually, we bring it up every once in a while, but yeah. So it's all about your approach.
Yeah, for sure.
So this one had so much potential, and I'm gonna let you share your personal story about it. Roseneath Fair. So, we'll start with the bad bits, and then you can talk about like you have a legacy there actually at the Roseneath Fair.
Yes.
But
So, when we apply or online, or they always want to know what we sell. So you give a list of things that we sell. So we show up there, we get setting up, told me the mini donuts, all this, and then the lady goes over, we can't sell mini donuts because the people at the carnies are all upset.
and we had been approved. We had been approved for mini donuts. We had.
Mini donuts, all that stuff. So then it was a big. So she thought she was gonna give me my $200 back and it'd be all great. Well, how much money it cost me to get there? We sent you emails. We bought all the product. We prepped everything.
And
So,
they
yeah.
didn't want us to sell kettle corn either, which would have we would have had to pack up and go home. But they did let us slide with that. But
Yeah. So that was a big disappointment. But for the Roseneath Carousel, my dad and I built all the harness for that. We built the saddles, the harness, because the gentleman that they flew in from Europe to build them and carve them all, he didn't know anybody that could make that. So my dad and I, because I remember going as a little boy, well, a young man, and we would measure all the horses. He'd actually bring them into the shop. My dad would make the saddle.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
We formed the saddles too. We did all different saddles. We carved all the leather, right? My dad showed me how to do that. So that was pretty cool. Like how I look at that and think, okay, I hand did every one of these.
Exactly. Yeah, like I said, you left a little bit of your legacy there. Like that's pretty cool. Not many people can say that. That's pretty awesome.
No, that's funny when I spoke to the lady about it.
Yeah. She wanted you to come back, and hell yeah, did you ever contact her?
No,
Well, you
well,
should.
I should go back.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
And Barb, I think, was her name. So shout out to Barb.
Yeah, show her the Barb, and that's she said that. She kind of sounded, and I told her that, right?
Yeah. So this next one, it was a smaller show, but Doc did something for the first time in the world, something that had never been done in the world before. So this is the Honey Harvest Festival at the Dancing Bee in Port Hope. I will let you take the lead on that.
Yes. So if you ever follow me, I always want to do crazy shit, right? I want to do something different. So when I started this company, we want to have fun. We want to do something that's never been done before, and that's why we're always creating new flavors, new stuff, right? So yeah, this one was pretty cool. So I wanted to infuse bee pollen into the kettle corn. So I went inside Dancing Bee, I bought bee pollen, brought my Ninja, we ground up all the Ninja, then you'll see me, we actually infused it into the kettle, right? And you would not believe how good it is. So you'll see on the videos where I'm going around giving everybody this infused kettle corn.
It was cool, and even too, I think it's because we mixed it with a little bit of sugar, because even the people who had bee pollen before, they couldn't believe how good it was, because they thought it was going to be bitter, but it wasn't at all. Actually, it was really good.
No, so I mixed in with my sweet sassy, right? We did that one, and it turned out like good. Like it was like you had a nice sugary taste, but you definitely had the bee pollen, right?
Yeah, no, it was really good.
It was.
Definitely. So, this next one was there's some issues with this show. The Handmade Craft Show in Wellington.
Yeah, I tried to forget that one. That was a bust.
Yeah, I don't even know if we really need to talk too much about that. That one, like, nothing, well, other than the fact that we tried to make the candy cane kettle corn, and we're going to try again this year. We'll do it better. But other than that, yeah, it wasn't like...
No, well, that's the one that, yeah, we were out front of the arena?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so we're out front of the arena, and we brought a steel plate to put underneath our kettle, and remember the little drip of oil?
Yeah.
So the lady phoned me up and everything else. If you have somebody come in and they're gonna pop live with oils and greases, you should put them in a spot that you expect them to give you a little bit of oil drip. Did we have a steel plate? Yeah, but there was like a little wee drop that big at the ground. She was going crazy. The amount of money you charged me to sit outside in a snowbank, was it worth it? No. Then I gotta say this: if you're charging me, I know this is one of my pet peeves.
I know where you're going with this,
Yeah.
yes.
If you're charging me a vending fee to come and vend, I'm okay with that. But when you're charging someone to come in and look at my product, handmade product or whatever, I disagree with that. Because the place was packed.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Yeah, so the amount of money that you made on the vending, I know the arena costs money and stuff like that, but you're charging me $5 a person, but how many people turned away?
There's quite a few. And that's the thing. And like an example, like Keen Pumpkin Festival, for example, that we did a couple weeks ago, they charged $5 fee to get in, but that's a festival. So you're coming in, you're gonna come in, you're gonna eat. There's live entertainment and all that. I can justify that. But when you're going in to look at vendors inside an arena and you have to pay $5 just to look at product,
We're gonna do a market here,
Yeah.
and I'm not charging you $5.
yeah.
So it's gonna be free, and then if you want to bring a food donation for the Marmara food bag, that's great. If not, that's great. I'm not gonna, because when I charge a vending fee, which is gonna be low, because I want the place packed. So if you're coming down here for a market, I want like 50, 60 people. I'm gonna hand pick those people. I'm not gonna overlap them. I want things that are handmade, Canadian made, locally made, right?
Definitely. The next one was, I think, it was the most fun, actually. The market in the barn in Pontypool.
Yes.
There was so many awesome things about that whole event. So they had really good live music. I believe the young girl's name is Julia Middleton, I think, or Julie Middleton. She was extremely talented.
Yeah.
She performed, I think, like 2 or 3 sets all day. Once again, we were popping all day and we sold out. That's another show that's really, really well organized.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, they had like
Yeah.
they had walking trails for people. They had stuff in the barn. That you could buy like hot chocolate. But thank God I'm a good driver. Remember me backing down?
Yes. So honestly, like I don't even that what you had to squeeze through. Plus, then there's the tree branches coming out too. Like it was not a wide space at all. Like how wide is the trailer? 7 feet.
Probably had about ½ inch. In
I was
each
gonna
side.
say, yeah.
And the one guy had to push a branch up.
Yeah, so
Remember
he
that?
was standing there like that, like I thought, yeah, I was nervous for him, but he seemed confident. I was confident in your skills. It wasn't that I wasn't confident in your skills. I was just worried that he was gonna get hit regardless. But yeah, no, that was. But at least when we went back for the last one, there we were up in the parking lot, so we didn't have to worry. But which makes more sense.
Yeah,
That's where you
sure.
wanted to be anyway.
Sure wanted to be.
But yeah, so yeah, because they have goats there, they have Highland cows there, and what else? I feel like there's something else. But anyway, it's a really nice setup, and they have like an old barn, and you can go in there, you can get like drinks and things, and they had you could drink hot chocolate, and they were like roasting marshmallows. They had these big fire pits you could all sit around. It was really nice.
Yeah.
We got some good ideas for here there actually.
The singer, she was fantastic.
She was amazing. Like I mean, and we'd like to have her come out to the farm and perform too when we do events.
She sang Christmas carols.
Yes, yeah, and then she was back at the last event there we did too, and she was singing like other music as well. Yeah, she's really, really talented. So yeah, no, on a whole, that's probably one of our best Christmas shows, if not the best Christmas show we did that year, for sure. Workworth Magic Under the Stars.
Did we get out of the vehicle?
So the first night we roll up, and it was icy, and there was ice pellets coming down, and once again, and I did try to talk you into staying,
Yeah.
but then eventually I just gave up because I didn't want to be there either. But it was raining, and then there was ice pellets, and it was icy, and back then we didn't have the concession trailer, so we would have had to wheel everything off, and it just wasn't safe, really. So that too, I think that was the night of the Santa Claus parade, and when you saw the pictures, I don't think that many people came out, so it wasn't. But that was every Friday night leading up to Christmas. So then the next ones that we did, they were good though.
Yeah.
The next nights for sure. Yeah, we're going back this year, so I can't remember the dates, but we'll definitely post them. Yeah, no, on a whole, it was good. Workworth's another town that's always been really good to us too.
Yeah, work was always been good to
Yeah,
us.
for sure. So I'm not sure if we're doing the Santa Claus parade yet, but we are definitely doing Magic Under the Stars this year, so we will be going back. So our last show of the season last year was the Arabella Retirement Living show.
It was windy, cold.
It was windy and cold, but we did sell quite a bit, especially the caramel.
Yes.
The residents love the caramel. And they haven't even tried our new one yet. So I think, because we'll be back there December 7th this year from 5 till 9, Arabella Retirement Living in Belleville.
Yeah.
They're going to love the new caramel, for sure.
Oh yeah, Doc's new creamy caramel. That's what we had one before. It was expensive. Like, how much was a box?
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. So then I wanted to build my own, because every time we phone, they'd be out. They'd raise the price. So
Yeah, we had a hard time getting the mix for that, for sure.
yeah. So what I'm trying to do is trying to invent all my own recipes so that I don't have to count on anyone. Right? Because every time we would phone, it'd be go up $50, up $20. So then when do you pass that on to the customer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why we're trying to keep all our prices down and level, but the price of everything is just crazy that we're probably eventually gonna have to raise our prices.
That's just the cost of, yeah. doing business, unfortunately, but I think people will understand.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think that's 2023 in a nutshell. We hope you enjoyed watching.
Yes, I can't wait till share some more in 2024. We got a whole bunch of crazy things happening at the farm. We can talk about what we did this year, right? What we did wrong. We brought a couple new products in.
Yeah, and definitely stay tuned because we will be posting every Friday the show of Let's Talk with the Doc and the Duchess.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Stay tuned.